All right, so I wanted to get started with an opening oracle reading, an official one. I know I did a part one reading where I just did a reading on the fly just to see what came up, and then I shared that with you all regarding this case. But now I want to delve a bit deeper, and what I do is I have a process. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I like to usually do an opening oracle reading to get a pulse on the energy surrounding what may have happened, or surrounding the victim or the persons who may be responsible. I like to see what the energies are, feel what the energies are. So that's what we're doing at this point. The other thing that this reading does is it helps me to hone in on the questions that I would like to ask for the detailed tarot and oracle reading that I do for such a case. Because then from whatever is gleaned from this reading, then I use it as inspiration for the questions I'm going to ask for the tarot reading. Now, a couple of things. You're going to hear me, this is my mouse, my Ergo mouse. And you may hear me clicking on it because I'm going to be toggling between looking at the young victims' pictures, as well as looking at the map of MoscowIdaho. I'm going to be looking and toggling, looking at their names. So you may hear some clicking. I just want to let you know what that noise is in the background. And that, I don't know what to expect with this reading, honestly. I still haven't had a chance to see what's going on with this case. I know that they're saying there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of limited information from the police. The police haven't released a lot, which probably is a blessed thing. I don't know. And I've been really busy with client readings, so I have not had a chance to really catch up. But again, everything happens for a reason. It's probably a blessing. I don't know much about it. So with that being said, sometimes what we pick up on in these readings is, yes, we pick up on the energy surrounding what happened to the victim, clues about who did it, but we also pick up the surrounding energies, the noise. I see that a lot with psychics, mediums, readers, where a lot of what we're picking up on is actually like the rumors, the noise surrounding a case, and not always what may have happened. So when you're watching readers, when you're watching psychics and mediums, just bear that in mind, that, you know, we're like a radio, and we have, you know, we're picking up different frequencies, and, you know, whatever they're putting out through the airwaves is what we are picking up. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you all. Spirit advised me to do so. All right, Spirit, we're coming to you for your divine guidance, your divine prophecy, your divine grace, your divine insights, your divine connection and protection as we delve into the energy surrounding what happened to these beautiful young people. We would love for information surrounding who may have done this, why it was done, you know, what kind of proximity this person had to the victims. Whatever you're willing to share, we are willing to receive, and we just thank you. We thank you for your divine protection. For those who do readings for these types of cases, and for those who watch these readings, and especially, Spirit, for those who are the subject of these readings. Blessed be, and so it is. Okay. Okay. I'll zoom in just a moment. I want to call to do 6. Oh, of course, maybe 7. Maybe 7 or 8. I like even numbers. I'm kind of weird that way. If I can help it. Not always it can be helped. But they're so little, these cards. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move these up here. And we're going to talk about them. I'm already kind of seeing some things that are a little bit disturbing to me, and I'll tell you what they are in particular, okay? Let me zoom in real fast. Okay. So the octopus card is of concern, the pentagram, the hat, and the heart. Okay, so, and the reason being is that there's some sort of entanglement with that octopus card, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's first talk about the diamond card. This, I think, came up in the last reading, but I could be wrong. But one of the key meanings to this is a promise, something of value to someone, a promise, okay? Someone also feels invincible in this situation. It could be the perpetrator that feels invincible. It could be the young people. You know how when you're young, you feel like nothing can happen to you. You're invincible. It could be a combination of both. It could be that all of these young people, including the perpetrator, is feeling that way. But this speaks to something of value, a promise made, and it also is tied to one of the key meanings is enduring love, which I find interesting. And the reason I'm even mentioning that is because of the heart card, okay? Now, here's the thing. What I was able to hear is that the police have said that the boyfriend of Kaylee, at this time, he's not a suspect. They don't have the law enforcement doesn't have any named suspects. Now, that's just one boyfriend out of, Maddie. I don't know what's going on with Maddie's boyfriend. I know Ethan and Xana were dating. I don't know. Could this be a past relationship? Could this be somebody who perceived that something was going on when something really wasn't going on? It could be any of those number of things. Again, one of the things that I picked up on was that in the last reading was that they felt like a stalker kind of energy. Someone who is in their maybe circle of friends or in their environment. And there could have been a conversation, an exchange, a promise about you hanging out, a promise about a date that never materialized. And whoever made this promise didn't think much of it. But this perpetrator, thought very much of it. Okay, heart. Now, this could literally represent, and I don't know where these young people were stabbed. I don't know if they were stabbed in the chest. I don't know if they were just stabbed all over. I don't know. But it's interesting to me that a body organ is pictured here and depicted here. Like the perpetrator needed to attack the heart. Like that is of significance of where, especially if it's like a victim that was a particular target, if they were stabbed in the heart, that is because this is very, very personal to the perpetrator. Okay. And what else I want to say about that is the heart card for this deck, the guidebook, it signifies strong emotions. Affection, love, compassion. But sometimes that can change. That can change in a blink of an eye. And what this signifies to me is that either this perpetrator had love for one or all of these victims and it turned, or that there was love shared or compassion given, either from one of the victims or all of the victims to the perp, or from the perp to one of the victims or all of the victims, okay? So that means to me that this doesn't feel random. I know that there's a lot of different theories going around, and you can take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, honestly, but I'm not picking up an energy that this is a stranger to them, or that this is a stranger to their community, or even to the college. This is something that feels personal. We have octopus. Now we're getting to the octopus card, and I want to talk to you all about that. This card can represent, one of the keywords is greed, entanglement, multitasking, and high intelligence. Someone is thinking that they're very smart and that they can outsmart law enforcement. Also, this is some sort of entanglement, someone feeling like they're entangled in something. It could be one of the victims feeling entangled in a situation related to matters of the heart. And this was a problem for this perpetrator because it's sitting over the star card. This would tell me that someone in this dynamic, in this entanglement, of a mess of things between more than two people. It could be 3 people, it could be 4 people, but usually it's like 3 people in entanglement. Somebody was holding out hope with the star card. Someone was holding out hope that they were going to be seen as something of value, and that they would be able to rise to the top on this situation. And when it didn't happen, it became a problem for the perpetrator. And so, this was done as a sign of getting an upper hand with the hat card. Some of the key meanings to the hat card, and the reason why I'm mentioning it now before we even talk about the dove or the pentagram, is somebody's self-image or identity was tied to whatever this perceived connection was. And when that was threatened or no longer to be, that became a problem, and it became a situation where they felt disrespected. Okay? They felt disrespected. And it's so interesting to me, like, well, who could that be? Like, is it literally, is this like somebody who they went to school with? Is it someone that's, used to hang out at the house? Who could that be? Okay, let's move on. The dove card. This does represent a few things. It represents that whatever this entanglement was led to the deaths of these beautiful young people, okay? Whatever this was. I personally think that law enforcement has a lot more information than they are revealing. They're parsing it out. Just there's little clues to me that they're saying and that they're doing and that they're not releasing. That's telling me that it's not that they don't have suspects, it's that they have someone in mind, but they're trying to be very strategic in how they move. So this card, along with the star and the dove, it is about a blessing of perhaps something coming about where answers get revealed, justice prevails. Okay, so that's later down the line, of course. The dove card gives clues, more clues about this dynamic though. It's speaking to, one of the key words for dove is friendship. Okay. And that again is telling me from spirit that this is not someone that was necessarily a stranger to one or all of the victims, that they knew of this person or they even had the conversations with this person, but in that perpetrator's mind, that this relationship that they had started to spin in their mind was, way more important to the perpetrator than it may have been to one of the victims or all of the victims. I'm curious to see about the pentagram. This is about gaining something of value. This card is tied to humanity. It's one of the key words. This person lost their humanity when they felt like they were disrespected in this situation. The sum of a lifetime of choices is another key word to the pentagram card, which I find interesting. It is saying that this perpetrator, and it also speaks to the victims, but let's first talk about the perpetrator. They have been their entire life making poor choices, doing questionable things, and it just kind of getting swept under the rug. They have been protected. We see that here with the umbrella card and the hat card. They've been protected. The sum of their choices, the life that they have made and what is to come. The victims, the sum of their choices, the choices that were, leading up to the event that happened. They didn't realize that who they were entangled with or what they were really dealing with. They didn't realize that. They didn't realize that they needed protection more than anything. But honestly, the perpetrator, they were on a karmic collision course. So yeah, there could have been something that delayed this happening on the night that it did, but I sensed that something was brewing and growing. Okay, like a storm. And so no matter what one of the victims chose to do, ultimately this perpetrator felt like they had to strike that night, or they were toying with which day, how would they, when would they do it, how would they do it. They had been thinking about this, choosing, monitoring, watching, going on the internet, seeing what the victim was going to do. There is, I sense a particular person, and I'm going to ask about it probably in the tarot reading because I'm curious. Yeah. This card is speaking to, this was, a bad omen, that the victims probably even got clues of something impending doom surrounding this situation, but maybe they ignored the signs. But again, I keep hearing from Spirit that with all that being said, they were still on this collision course, if you will. You're still on this collision course, sadly. This perp had vengeance on the brain. So can you share any additional insights? Today for tomorrow. That picture reminds me of the two best friends, Kaylee and Maddie. Triumph of Lies. It's really sad. It just is so tragic. It just didn't have to be, honestly. I don't know how people could be so awful. And Today for Tomorrow, what's really sad about that particular card is because it's like, I sense it's telling me that there's, of those two young ladies, I don't think it's Xana or Ethan that was the target. I sense that what Spirit is saying, that the target has to do with one of those females. And so that's going to help me to narrow down when I do the Tarot and Oracle reading to ask about which of those two young ladies may have had a connection or known about or known of the perpetrator. Okay. Today for Tomorrow. And from what I understand is that Kaylee was going to visit the house. She lived there, and I don't know if she was like on break from there, from the house on King Road. I don't know if she lived there still and she was just visiting her family, but she came back to show off her brand new Range Rover that she purchased. And I'm assuming one of the people she was going to show was her bestie, Maddie. And so Today for Tomorrow, I think that from what I heard, it was that she struggled with whether or not to go back. It was a party going on, and so she ended up going to this party, or choosing to go to the party after all, and that was her fateful decision. And I'm saying that because we have fated to suffer. This speaks to what Spirit was saying earlier. It's the confirmation that, yeah, the sum of their choices led them to this fateful moment, and that the perpetrator had it in for the victim, and that the rest of the victims, you know, I don't know. When I'm parsing out what I think Spirit is saying, that a couple of them, perhaps Ethan and Xana, were, you know, wrong place, wrong time. There was also some kind of personal element to one of the females. So there's a target female, and like a targeted female, and then her friend who also was going to get attacked as well. So it's hard to even put it to words, to be honest. We have Triumph of Lies. And this is interesting to me because this is telling me that someone has been lying and the police are on to them. Triumph of Lies. They may have been able to tell lies and be a triumph in front of press and in front of family. They may put on a good show. They may have us all fooled, but not for long, and law enforcement may be onto them a lot sooner than we are, the public, and even the families. Okay. It's interesting. I know I pulled from this deck, I pulled from it earlier in the part 1 when I did that a few days ago, but I'm called to do or pull some cards. And then we'll wrap up. And we'll do the tarot reading, because I think I have now an idea of the kind of questions I need to ask for that reading. So is there any additional insights that you can share about this perpetrator or about the case? Anything else you wish to share, we would be oh so grateful. I haven't watched other readers yet on this case, or other psychics either, because I knew I was planning on I'm continuing on with my readings. And so once I know it's time to wrap up the readings for this case, then I'll explore seeing what other people are picking up intuitively. I always love hearing what you all are picking up intuitively. Or just, what you know about the case. It's always super helpful when you leave comments. And I always like to engage with my peeps. Okay, so I feel like these cards came up in the past. Spirit's like reiterating. And I think I'm going to stop shuffling. I think Spirit wants me to do that. Thank you. So it says an argument or fight is a strong factor. Now, this doesn't mean that there was an argument on the night of. I wish it wasn't so dark in here. It doesn't mean that it was an argument the night of the incident, the crime, when the crimes occurred. It could mean that there was something that happened a couple of months back, or I think also what this card is speaking to is you can argue with a stranger, but more often than not, you're going to argue with someone that you know, that you have some sort of connection to. Sure, you can argue with a stranger. That does happen. But then if that means that at some point you had an encounter with that person and you know them or you're aware of them, they now are someone that you are aware of. This would not be just a stranger off the street, like a Ted Bundy, I'm assuming. You know what I mean? Like someone who's completely unknown to them. This would be someone that may be very much known to them. Okay, that's what I was trying to articulate. Someone that could be known to them. Doesn't necessarily mean that there was a fight that night, but it means that this is someone that they've engaged in. The victim or victims have had some level of contact with this perp. It says important details are not being revealed to the public at this time. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So that's what I was saying earlier. And it's sitting underneath the triumph of lies. There's details that law enforcement is not sharing, and it's a small town, okay? News travels fast, rumors travels fast, and it's not to say that, they don't want to share it with the family, but it's just to protect the integrity of the investigation. It's frustrating for us. We want answers. And for those who live there, they need answers so they can feel safe and be able to move about their life. So I get the need for needing more information. However, there's a method to the madness with officers in this case, and so they are not releasing everything. A witness may not be fully disclosing all of the facts. Triumph of lies, covering themselves up, making them look like they're not really, involved. Suspect lives near the scene of the crime. Okay. That would make sense. After they stabbed those young people and then left, they maybe not had very far to travel. Okay. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else before we wrap up this part. Yeah, this still affirms for me that there is someone that they know of. Oh, antisocial flew out. That came up, I believe, in the last reading we did. Or the impromptu reading I did on this case. I'll show you in a moment. Interesting. Okay, so remember how I was saying that greed, I believe is for the octopus card. So that came up. Antisocial. This person is antisocial. They just fly under the radar, and they always have. And I think that's been an asset to them and also a curse. They hate it. They want to be like these beautiful people that they stab. They want to embody that energy and receive all the blessings that come with being young, beautiful, smart, gregarious, outgoing, have all the world before you. People desiring you. They want that. Yet, being able to fly underneath the radar has allowed them to do such a heinous crime. Sabotage. It's an interesting word. Regret. And greed. This person really wanted to sabotage something that was unfolding. I know Kaylee was getting ready to move to Texas from Idaho. Perhaps if she's the target, this perp wanted to stop that and sabotage that. There's regrets. Could be the perp, or it could be someone close to the situation. It could be someone who's protecting the perpetrator. They have regrets. They may even know, okay? Witness could be someone close to the suspect, and they are greedy. They wanted this victim. This was personal. All right, you all, I'm going to wrap it up here for now. We'll continue on with the next part where I do the tarot and oracle reading. So stay tuned for that. Please do me a favor on your way out of the video. Please hit the like button, as well as, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. And don't forget to comment down below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts, because you all have been enlightening me on some things, and you see things in the cards that I miss. And so I'm always appreciative of hearing what you have to say. All right, loves. Well, I'll chat with you all later. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.